We all know the Conjuring Universe, the gold standard of modern horror, a franchise built on the terrifying true case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren. But do you know what happened when the cameras stopped rolling and the horror followed the cast and the crew home? While audiences were enjoying themselves or screaming in theaters, the people making these movies were reportedly living through a nightmare that even a Hollywood screenwriter couldn't write. From the very first day of production, the line between Hollywood magic and paranormal reality began to blur, leading many to believe that by telling these stories, the filmmakers didn't just recreate a haunting, they invited one in. The stories from the set go far beyond spooky noises in the night and cold spots. Lead actress Vera Farmiga, who played Lorraine Warren, reportedly woke up during the witching hour at 3 a.m. to find 3 unexplained claw marks on her thigh. More disturbing was the experience of Joey King, who played one of the Perron daughters. Despite never doing her own stunts, she became covered in massive, unexplained bruises during filming. Doctors diagnosed her with a rare blood disorder that vanished completely when she finished the movie, leaving skeptics and believers alike asking, was this a medical anomaly or was she being attacked by something? The activity became so intense that the studio officially intervened, bringing in a Catholic priest to bless the sets of the sequels, a practice that has become standard protocol for the franchise. But did the holy water actually work, or did it just anger whatever presence was lurking in the shadows? This is the story of the Curse productions of the Conjuring Universe. Let's get spooky. Hey, spooky people. It's your best friend Kenny, and we are back with another disturbing, spooky story. Before we get to today's story, let's make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. Please like, share, hype this video, and leave a comment for the algorithm. Thank you. In Hollywood history, the Curse production is a concept as old as film itself. We have the fires on the set of The Exorcist, the lightning strikes on the set of The Omen, and the real-life horrors that occurred during Poltergeist. But these are relics of the 20th century. In the modern era, one horror franchise has monopolized the market on on-set paranormal activity, creating a story so dense and terrifying that it occasionally eclipses the movies itself. This franchise is the Conjuring Universe. What started in 2013 as a throwback horror film by James Wan has turned into a sprawling billion-dollar franchise involving demon nuns, possessed dolls, weeping women, and a crooked man who was too scary to get his own movie. But parallel to the box office success is a darker ledger, a documented reality of inexplicable injuries, medical anomalies, and spectral visitations that have plagued the cast and crew for over a decade. The Conjuring Universe is unique because it is built entirely on the case files of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Unlike Halloween or Friday the 13th, which feature superhuman slashers, this franchise features indestructible evil. The antagonists are demons that, according to Catholic dogma and the Warrens' own journals, are real, ancient, and angry. Ed Warren and Lorraine Warren spent decades investigating America's most high-profile hauntings. Critics call them frauds. Believers believe that they're saints. But when James Wan decided to adapt their files, he did something risky. He invited Lorraine Warren to be an active consultant. This decision is often called by the cast as patient zero for their on-set activity. By bringing the real Lorraine Warren onto the set and by treating the source material with reverence rather than skepticism, the production allegedly opened a door. Patrick Wilson, who plays Ed Warren, noted that while he is a skeptic, he refuses to mock the subject matter, maintaining a healthy respect for the unknown. This respect did not seem to protect the production from what was coming. The production of The Conjuring in Wilmington, North Carolina serves as the origin story for the on-set hauntings. The film focused on the Perron family haunting in Harrisville, Rhode Island, involving the spirit of an alleged witch. Long before the cameras rolled, Vera Farmiga experienced what she described as her first inexplicable encounter. Farmiga was researching her character, Lorraine Warren. She had just finished a phone conversation with director James Wan about the role and agreed to take the part. She closed her laptop. When she opened it again and to continue her research, she found distinct claw marks raked across her screen. These were physical scratches on the glass and LCD. We're not talking about some sort of computer error. Farmiga stated, "I opened my computer and saw 3 digital claw marks from the upper right diagonal to the lower left. This incident is specific. The number 3 is a recurring motif in the film." Farmiga was shaken but proceeded. However, she famously refused to bring the script into her house, claiming she felt an oppressive atmosphere whenever it was inside. She would leave it in her car or outside her front door, treating the screenplay like radioactive material. The most famous story from the 2013 set involves a physical assault. On the day Farmiga completed filming, she returned to her home in upstate New York. The next morning, she woke up to find 3 claw-mark bruises on her thigh. Farmiga described them in detail. It wasn't incredibly painful. It might have felt like a bruise. It was these 3 very distinct, what looked like claw marks that long nails or long fingertips, like thin fingertips, could make. She even showed photos of the bruises to reporters during the press tour, verifying their existence. The timing makes this chilling. The bruises did not appear during the stunts or the physical action of the climax. They appeared after she had rapped, almost as a goodbye from the entity that she had been channeling. One of the most disturbing incidents involved child actress Joey King, who played Christine Perron. In the film, the mother, who's played by Lily Taylor, becomes possessed and develops strange bruises all over her body. During the filming of these exact scenes, Joey King developed a rare and sudden blood disorder called immune thrombocytopenic purpura. Her blood platelet levels plummeted dangerously low, causing spontaneous bruising all over her body. The situation was a medical emergency. Doctors warned that she was at high risk for internal bleeding and may need a blood transfusion. King had to visit the hospital every single day before and after filming to monitor her levels. And what's crazy is Joey King didn't do any stunts. She wasn't being thrown around. The bruises just appeared, mirroring the makeup being applied to her on-screen mother. And the moment the movie wrapped and she left the production, the condition vanished entirely. Her platelets returned to normal, and she had never had a reoccurrence of the disorder since. It is a medical mystery that somehow perfectly aligns with the film's plot. The production invited the Perron family to the set in North Carolina. The mother, Carolyn Perron, refused to go. Recall, she was the primary target of the haunting in the 1970s. She wanted nothing to do with it. However, her daughters visited. While the daughters were standing on their set of their recreated home, a strange localized wind whipped through the area. It was noted by the crew because the surrounding trees were still, but the wind seemed focused solely on the family. At that exact moment, hundreds of miles away in Atlanta, Carolyn Perron felt an evil presence. She then suffered a severe fall, seemingly pushed by an unseen force, which resulted in a broken hip and a hospitalization. The Conjuring was a haunted house movie. Annabelle was a cursed object movie. This spin-off focused on the origin of the doll. The production moved to Los Angeles, but the bad luck followed, even becoming more violent. Annabelle was directed by John R. Leonetti. He was a cinematographer on the first film. During pre-production, he visited the apartment location in Koreatown where they planned to shoot. The apartment had been empty for some time. Leonetti described looking at a high transient window above the living room. It was a full moon, he told the Hollywood Reporter, and there were 3 fingers drawn through the dust along the window, and our demon has 3 fingers and 3 talons. The demon for the film had been designed but not yet filmed. The markings were backlit by the moonlight, creating a perfect silhouette of the creature's hand. Leonetti took a photo of it, calling it sick and creepy. It was the first sign that this entity was waiting for them. The most dangerous incident in the entire franchise occurred in the hallways of the Koreatown location. The script called for a scene where the demon pursues a character and kills the building's handyman janitor in a hallway. While the crew was preparing to film near that specific hallway, a massive glass light fixture detached from the ceiling and crashed to the floor. It shattered. The actor standing underneath it was the man playing the demon. Producer Peter Safran later commented on the impossible coincidence. In the script, the demon kills the janitor in that hallway. It was totally freakish. If the actor had been a few inches to the left, he could have been seriously injured or even killed. The cast interpreted this as the real demon taking a swing at the fake demon, a turf war between the prop and, well, hell. For the Conjuring sequel, the action moved to the Einfeld poltergeist case in London. The production is notable for introducing the set blessing protocol, a reaction to the chaos of the previous 2 films. Before shooting began, the producers hired a Roman Catholic priest to bless the sound stages. This was a request from the cast. It wasn't some marketing stunt. The priest walked through the set, sprinkling holy water and reciting prayers to release any spirits trapped in the location. The ritual now has become standard operating procedure for the franchise, listed on the call sheet alongside lunch breaks and makeup calls. Despite the holy water, the set remained active. At the end of filming, a video circulated among the crew and was later mentioned by Patrick Wilson. It showed the heavy stage curtains on the set beginning to sway violently. There were no fans on the set. The air conditioning was off because they needed to record for sound. The doors were closed, yet the curtains waved as if someone or something was hiding behind them, shaking them. The waving lasted about a minute and then stopped abruptly. Patrick Wilson admitted the footage was weird and noted that he had heard unexplained children's laughter in his home. The Nun production was filmed in Romania. And it's no coincidence that The Nun is widely considered the most actively haunted of the entire franchise. Director Corin Hardy is a horror fan who desperately wanted to see a ghost but never had. The production was filming in an ancient Romanesque fortress in Romania. The location was used in the catacomb scenes. It was damp, dark, and claustrophobic. Hardy had to walk down a 200-foot pitch-black corridor to reach his monitor station, which was located in a small, isolated cell off the main hallway. When he returned to the room, he saw two men sitting in the shadows at the back. He assumed they were Romanian crew members, staying out of the way. He nodded at them, said hello, and he turned his back to focus on the monitor. For 30 minutes, Hardy directed the scene. He was shouting instructions, cheering when the take was good, and generally being a loud director. The men sat silently behind him. Finally, they got to the perfect shot. Hardy, elated, spun around in his chair to the two men and asked, "Did you see that? Good, right?" And the room was empty. There was only one door, the one Hardy was blocking with his chair. There was no way they could have left without him seeing. He ran into the hallway. It was empty. He checked with the AD. No one had been back there. Hardy realized he had spent a half hour being supervised by the ghosts of Romanian soldiers. He described the encounter as tangible, shaking his skepticism forever. While filming in the castle, a real bat flew into the tent where Bonnie Aarons, who played the nun, was having her makeup applied. The bat was frantic. A makeup artist tried to shoo it away or catch it, and the bat latched onto his hand. The crew had to stop to deal with the potential rabies risk. It was a visceral reminder that they were in Dracula country, and nature was not cooperating. The movie The Curse of La Llorona was also part of the universe, and it was supposedly haunted. Raymond Cruz plays the curandero, or shaman, in the film. Cruz is a man who takes spiritual protection seriously. Before filming, he researched protection spells and wore a special bracelet made of hard black tourmaline stone to ward off negative energy. During the filming of an intense scene where his character is battling the entity, the bracelet suddenly shattered. It exploded. The bracelet tore off my hand and all the beads shattered and went in every corner, Cruz said. This stone is incredibly hard and difficult to break, let alone shatter from simply wearing it. Cruz believes that the bracelet absorbed a hit meant for him. Actress Linda Cardellini suffered strange occurrences at her hotel. While in Austin for the South by Southwest premiere, she was in her hotel room when the heavy door slammed shut on its own. The windows were closed. There was no draft. I heard a door slam so loud I thought it could only have come from my room. She checked the room, but no one was there. Later, the curtains in her room began to move on their own. Cardellini, a skeptic, admitted that, "I'm not really one of those people that believes in that kind of stuff, but that night I was convinced." McKenna Grace, who plays Judy Warren, is a horror veteran. But on her first day, the set struck back. During a rehearsal, the lights on the set inexplicably went dark. Her co-star, Madison Iseman, yelled "Annabelle" as a joke. When the lights came back on, McKenna Grace was bleeding profusely from her nose. It was heavy, heavy blood, she recalled. As soon as she stepped off the set to get a tissue, the bleeding stopped instantly. Even creepier, Grace woke up one morning with a small, unexplained cut near her hairline. The cut was in the shape of a triangle, the triad mark, the signature of the demonic entities in the franchise. During a set visit, a heavy piano bench in the Warren's artifact room set moved on its own. It dragged across the floor while the crew watched. There were no wires. Journalists visiting the set also reported draining batteries, which is a classic in paranormal settings. Their phones and recorders would die instantly upon entering the artifact room set and return to full charge upon leaving. For the third Conjuring film, the horror was less jump scare and more psychological rot. Rory O'Connor, playing the murderer Arnie Johnson, isolated himself during the shoot. He listened to the real tapes of the Glatzel exorcism and the murder. He described a darkness settling over him, leading to severe insomnia and night terrors. "I had to conjure my own demons," he said, noting that he would wake up screaming. While less ghostly than other sets, the psychological toll on O'Connor was the heaviest of any actor since Joey King. The release of The Conjuring Last Rites brought a chilling bookend to the franchise. Vera Farmiga revealed that the Bruises had returned. In an interview with E! News, she showed a photo of her leg. The bruise this time was a distinct cross, not claw marks. "I get battered," she said. "It happens every time we do it." The physical markings evolved from claws to crosses. Warner Brothers leaned fully into the lore for the finale. Reports confirmed that priests were stationed at movie theaters, especially in Texas, to bless patrons before they entered the auditorium. They handed out holy water and St. Michael's prayer cards. Now, this was a marketing stunt, but it also acknowledges the reality that audiences now believe that these films carry a spiritual risk. The real-life Perron farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, which you'll recall is the subject of the first film, is a tourist destination called the Conjuring House. In late 2023, the barn on the property caught fire. The owner, however, issued a statement debunking the ghosts. The deputy state fire marshals conclude that the fire was started by improperly disposed materials spontaneously combusting inside a trash bag. Neither Bathsheba Sherman nor any other spirit caused this fire. The fact that they had to name check a 19th century witch in a fire marshal's report shows you just how deep this lore runs. The Conjuring Curse is a complex story. A part of it undoubtedly is the result of human psychology, where the expectation of harm, the expectations of demons, the expectations of haunting causes physical symptoms. And part of it has been hijacked into brilliant marketing by Warner Brothers, who have monetized this expertly. But there's still residue of the unexplained here. Why did the glass fixture fall exactly where that death was scripted? Who were the men that Corn Hardy saw in the Romanian fortress? And what's going on with Vera Farmiga's thigh bruises? The franchise has blurred the lines between entertainment and ritual by invoking the names of real demons, using artifacts of real demonologists, and filming in locations with real dark history. The Conjuring Universe has become more than a series of movies. It is a decade-long conversation with spirits. And if you keep knocking on that door, eventually something is going to open it. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, The Spooky Lawyer. Make sure that you like, share, hype this video, and leave a comment for the algorithm. Follow me on Blue Sky, Twitter, and TikTok. My username is The Spooky Lawyer. If there is a spooky or disturbing story you'd like me to cover, leave a comment and tell me about it. Or send me an email. My email address is thespookylawyer@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a link in the description of this video in my bio to buy me a coffee, so you can buy me a coffee. Or you can become a member of this channel. For the $1.99 tier, you can get access to exclusive content, including exclusive videos, as well as early access to all of my videos. I appreciate you considering this. You can also support me by continuing to watch, like, and share my videos. And I do really appreciate you watching my videos. And please stay spooky.